Alright, part 7. If you haven't watched the first part, 6 parts, you go watch them. That's kind of... It should be, you should always do it. Anyway. Alright, we're almost done with Twilight Princess. We got 3 more dungeons. We got City in the Sky. This is probably the Twilight Princess dungeon that I am most conflicted on. So, I love it for some reasons, and I don't like it for some other reasons. Now, I love it because I love the setting, you know, being in the sky, you know, you launch a rocket from there. I mean, it's really cool. I also like it because the enemies are nice, the boss is incredible, you get the double claw shots, which again is my favorite Zelda item. I dislike it for a couple other reasons. It's a long dungeon. It's a very long dungeon, and you're going to be waiting for some, especially at one point, you're going to be waiting for the P-hats, you know, the flying things. You're going to be waiting there for a long time, and you're also going to get lost. I've played through Twilight Princess like 4 times, and I've only not gotten lost this last time. In City in the Sky specifically. I think the pros outweigh the cons. Maybe not by much, but it doesn't matter that it's not by much because there's so many pros and so many cons that there's so much stuff that everything is drastic and it's going in A tier. Right over here, that seems good. Actually, let's put it here. Okay. Ooh, Palace of Twilight. I really don't know how to think about this this dungeon because you know that you got the 2 parts. First you get the Sauls, and then once you got the Butter Sword, you go and do the main part of the dungeon that's more dungeony. I didn't like the first part, mainly because I'm bad at reacting quickly, and so I don't enjoy it very much. I did like the second part, but I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic. I liked the Twilight more when it was, you know, orangish, like Twilight. I prefer Twilight in the light world to the actual Twilight realm, which is weird, but it is the world we live in. However, the Zant fight, it's got to be one of my favorite bosses in Zelda. And it's nice to have a new sword, but I don't know. Again, I'm just so conflicted about this one. I think it's pretty safe to put it right here. That seems like a good place. Hyrule Castle, I shouldn't have to say too much about this dungeon. I like it because it's a gauntlet of combat, and I really love combat in Twilight Princess. You know, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword are 2 of my favorite Zelda games, and in both of those games, dungeons and combat are the best things of those games. So I'm just gonna put Hyrule Castle probably around here. That seems good. It's pretty simple. Obviously, it's unique because it's a Ganon's Tower clone. It's hard to compare it to anything else besides just the other Ganon's Towers. And I've only played one other of those Ganon's Towers, and that's Dark Hyrule Castle. Anyway, on to Skyward Sword. Skyview Temple? That's what it's called. Yes, Skyview Temple. I think it's kind of basic as far as starting dungeons go. Again, like the Forest Temple, it doesn't really need to teach you anything. Because you've already been playing the game for 3 hours now. Even longer than Twilight Princess. You've been playing it for a long time. You know how to play the game, you know how to do the combat. So, again, this leaves room for the dungeon to be good, as opposed to the dungeon having to be bad to teach the player things. But Skyview Temple isn't really good. It really just isn't as good as it had the potential to be. You know, the theme is nice, the boss is fun, the item is meh. I don't enjoy it very much. I think it's okay, and that's kind of all I'll say about it. I'm gonna put it right here. Earth Temple, I don't know. It's got the same vibe as all the other fire temples, obviously. Because, like, how else are you gonna make a fire temple? But, this one is weirder. It's linear, and that's nice. Nice that it's linear. But it doesn't really capitalize on that. The thing about me liking linear things, I like linear things because, if a dungeon is linear, it lets you have more combat. It lets you fight more enemies, or do more puzzles. Either one. But the thing about the Goron Mines and the tower and the Earth Temple is that it's linear, but there really isn't enough combat to justify it, or a puzzle. Maybe not the tower. The tower isn't enough combat. But these dungeons just don't have enough stuff in it to justify being so linear. I just don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll actually put it right here. Right here. That seems pretty good, actually. Okay, linear mining facility. This dungeon, I think it's really good. My mood about it changes over time, unfortunately. I wish that weren't the case, but it is. At one point, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great dungeon because of its theming. I love lightning dungeons because there's just so few of them. Actually, I think this is like the one lightning dungeon, specifically lightning-based dungeon in all of Zelda. I guess there's a sand ship. Yeah, that probably counts. So I'm like that, and then also the combat is fun. I like fighting these enemies. And then I think, but because this is Skyward Sword, there are so few save points. I have to play this game for a long time, and by a long time I mean like half an hour in a row. And it's just a little less satisfying than I'd like it to be. So, linear mining facility reminds me a lot of Metroid Prime 3. Again, if you've seen my ranking video games video, you should just watch that. It's like Metroid Prime 3 because it's enjoyable, but I don't like to play games for a long time. I don't have ADHD, but I just like, I don't like to play a Zelda game for too long, right? But linear mining facility is a dungeon, and so it doesn't have a lot of save points. I can't just go up to Skyloft and save, you know? So I have to do dungeon for quite some time. I mean, that's a problem with most of the dungeons. The reason it's more present in linear mining facility is that while the theme is cool, I love the song and all that. While it's cool and all, it does get boring after a little bit. I hate to say it, but it does. It really does. And so, again, it's kind of like the city in the sky. There are so many good things, so many bad things, and they kind of cancel each other out. But this one has a few more bad things than it has good things, so I'm probably going to put it right here. That seems good. Okay. Ancient Cistern. This one's, you know, this might just be confirmation bias. I'm not sure. But I think this one, as much as people talk about it, I don't think it's overrated. I think it's hyped up the right amount. Because the Ancient Cistern, it has a very nice, relaxing atmosphere. The song is great. It matches the atmosphere well. For some reason, nobody does except for me, but I like the item. I like the whip. And the enemies are nice, although there aren't a lot. It's more of a puzzle dungeon. It took me a second. Funny story. When I first played this game, it took me a hot second to remember how to kill the Skulltalas. But I did it. It's fine. Okay. Let's go to, the boss. The boss is, of course, most people's favorite boss in the game. It's not my favorite boss in the game, but it's up there. And it's just, and also, of course, the contrast with the light and the dark house cistern. It's everything is great. There really are very few bad things about this. If anything, it's just the save thing, but that's just a problem with the dungeons and Skyward Sword in general. So I'm not going to keep that against the Ancient Cistern. So really, it's just going to go in S, right here. That seems like the best place to put it. Okay, last Skyward Sword dungeon. We did all of Skyward Sword in one video. Okay. I think it was one video. The minutes are blurring together. Sand ship. A lot of people, this is the best dungeon. It's not the best dungeon for me, that's the Ancient Cistern. But, I like this dungeon because the, time shift stones are nice. I like how they work. I like how it's a ship. Pirate ships are nice. I should mention here that I have forgotten to put the Pirate's Fortress in here, and hands up, that's on me. I'm sorry. It would probably go over here somewhere. I liked it enough that I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like incredible. I kind of forgot it exists. But yeah, anyway, the sand ship. Again, it's just another case of there has so many good things that there isn't one thing that's the best at, in my opinion, and has like 1-2 bad things about it. The boss is kind of, it's okay. Actually, the boss is pretty mid. And there's that one really nice puzzle that Fi just spoils for you, at least in the original, which is the version I played. That's kind of sad, but the rest of it is nice. I really do like the sand ship. It's going up here, probably right here. Right here. There you go. Okay, that's Skyward Sword. Now we got A Link Between Worlds. That's probably gonna take two episodes. So I'll see you in the next one.